Lately I've been thinking a lot about Earth Day. The first one was observed on April 22nd, 1970. Back then, things were different. The current technology was dial telephones, TV that came from antennas, and music that came from vinyl records. People navigated using paper maps they got at the gas station. American industry was strong. We imported nothing from China. But the other thing about industry was people didn't pay too much attention about the sewerage that was being pumped directly from factories into rivers, or the big smokestacks that were belching out all kinds of air pollution into the sky. Back in the 60s, change was on the horizon. Maybe it was because of Rachel Carson's book about the springtime with no birds singing. Maybe it was because of a river that caught fire because it was so polluted. But you know what I think? I think it had a lot to do with NASA in the launch of Apollo 8 in 1968. This was a mission that left the Earth's orbit, and they were heading towards the moon. And they got a pleasant surprise when one of the astronauts looked out the window, and what did he see? Was a little blue orb off in the distance, and he said he could put his hand out and cover it up, but that was the Earth. And they were pretty excited. They took some pictures. Nobody had ever seen the Earth from that vantage point before. And that gave a psychological jolt to mankind. This is like the first selfie on a worldwide scale. About this time, people became concerned about the air pollution, the low bird populations, and the polluted rivers and the polluted air, and people throwing their trash out the window. I'm from Wisconsin, and a man from Wisconsin was a very important part of the founding of Earth Day. That's Gaylord Nelson. He was a two-term Wisconsin governor and then went on to be a U.S. senator. While he was a senator, he used his political power for conservation ideas, and he teamed up with a man named Mr. Dennis Hayes, and they said, let's do something. Let's have some big teach-ins and seminars. So they finally ended up with the idea of Earth Day, and they even came up with a green and white Earth Day flag. I'm all for honoring the earth. It's Mother Earth that provides us everything we need, the food, the water, the air, the clothing, and shelter. It all comes from the Mother Earth. As a kid growing up in the countryside, I had a pretty close relationship with nature, and I remember watching the rabbits. I saw baby rabbits being born, I saw them growing to maturity, I saw them mating, and I even saw them dying of old age. Plants and animals have a life cycle. Isaac Newton came up with the law of gravity by observing a fruit tree, and a man in Switzerland was out hunting and came back with burrs all over his clothes, and he was wondering about it, so he put them under the microscope, and he looked closely and saw the hook and loop, and he invented Velcro by observing nature. So we can learn a lot from nature. That's the pair system, the hook and the loop. How many pair systems are there in nature? There's a stamen and pistil. You got the male and female. And look at your body. You got two eyes, two ears, two nostrils. You got two arms. You got two legs, and so forth. Isn't it amazing? It's the pair system in nature. The natural world is spinning and rotating through cycles of day and night, and the tide cycles, and also the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. It's a constant cycle. Who was it that said the only thing constant is change? What if you take a little tiny dried out seed and you stick it down in the dirt? As you give it some water and sunshine and weight, a little tiny white root comes out of the bottom, and a green shoot starts sprouting up from the top, and it moves up towards the sun, leaves come on, eventually there's a bud, and then a flower forms, bees are buzzing around it, and when the petals fall off, a fruit is growing right behind the seed, and it gets bigger and bigger, and at the pinnacle you have ripe fruit, and from there it's all downhill, and the plant is dying, and it all looks dead. But wait, look inside. Inside the fruit there's seeds, and the cycle starts again. It's not all gloom and doom. When I was a kid growing up in Wisconsin, there was a very limited deer population. And there was no bald eagles, no wild turkeys, no coyotes, no wolves. But now the deer population is overpopulated. And there's bald eagles, and there's turkeys, and there's wolves and coyotes. Some people have seen elk. So things have really improved. And I really think, in my opinion, the people of Earth have made some very positive course corrections since 1970. There's a lot of work to be done. There's still lots of polluting going on, and there's lots of environmental issues have to be done. But I think a good way to go out and observe Earth Day is go out and clean up some trash and go plant a tree or a few trees and go take a hike and enjoy Earth Day. All right, thanks a lot for watching my video. Tune in the future. I'm going to have more videos. And why don't you do me a favor and subscribe?